People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it, and that soul can't rest. Then sometimes, just sometimes, that crow can bring a soul back to put the wrong things right. And for me, that was watching The Crow 2024. Guys, hit that like and subscribe button because I'm Sammy 3P and I'm about to cook.
Let Sammy 3P cook. Let him cook. Let Sammy 3P cook. Let him cook. He's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking. Sammy 3P, let him cook.
Caution, spoilers ahead, but how do you spoil something that's this rotten? Let me give you a quick run of the basics and then we'll get into it. The Crow is a haunting piece of fiction set in Detroit that follows Eric and his heartbreaking past. Throughout this journey, we come to find out that Eric and his fiancee Shelley were driving down a road when their car broke down and they were randomly assaulted by T-Bird and his group of thugs. Poor Eric is paralyzed in the ordeal and hopelessly made to watch as his fiancee Shelley is violated. They are then left for dead. They're picked up, brought to the hospital. Eric later dies on the operating table while Shelley is pronounced DOA. This becomes all the more heartbreaking when we see flashbacks of Eric and Shelley and the life that they shared together. These moments feel very personal, and it's speculated that a lot of them are taken from Obar's personal experiences with his late fiance. Obar even admits that he based Shelley's design off of her. A year later, Eric finds himself resurrected and nigh invincible, with a crow that only he can see to help guide him. He enacts sweet, sweet, bloody vengeance on the men who wronged him, and all the while dwelling on Shelley's death. The story ends not when Eric's revenge is fully enacted, but when Eric learns to forgive himself and embrace that there was nothing he could have done to save Shelley. The book ends with Eric simply vanishing beside Shelley's grave. Beautiful. The 1994 film, The Crow, remains somewhat faithful to the book with some key differences. It's still set in Detroit. Eric was a rock star. Him and Shelley were killed over a real estate scheme. Top Dollar is the head of the gang now. He's really the biggest crime boss in the city. Top Dollar gets defeated by Eric when Eric makes him experience all the pain that Shelley did in the hospital because in the movie, Eric is dead on arrival and Shelley spends like 30 hours in agony in the hospital. So Eric transfers all of that pain and anguish that Shelley experiences to Top Dollar on their big boss fight on the rooftop, and it's too much for Top Dollar to take, and he falls down. It's implied that Shelley's waiting to greet Eric as he's dying at the end of the film so they can go into the afterlife together. Aside from these very Hollywood changes and tweaks, the story and its elements pretty much remain the same. And like the themes are pretty much the same. The soundtrack goes hard. The movie's a cult classic. And unfortunately, it's a cult classic for other reasons. Sadly, the actor who played Eric, he was an up and coming star. Brandon Lee, he was the son of famous martial artist Bruce Lee. He was tragically killed on set by a malfunctioning gun that was used as a prop. Brandon was set to be married a few weeks after the movie wrapped. The movie was still finished and dedicated to Lee, earning a special place in pop culture all on its own. The movies and the comics have continued with various iterations of the Crow. The stories would always center around someone who was horribly wronged in life and is granted an opportunity for revenge after death. And for years, that's what the Crow has meant to people. Now, take everything I just told you about the Crow and throw it in the garbage because it's 2024, baby, and there's a new Crow in town. This looks like someone looked at a few comic covers and read the back of the VHS and said, I got this. The story takes place in Vienna, Europe. Meet Eric. He's our main character. He's a well-built looking drug addict with dumb tattoos all over his face. His pony died as a child, so he's damaged. Eric lets people pick on him and doesn't like rules because rules don't get him. Eric catches the eye of Shelley. They sit together one time, even though it's not allowed.
You're gonna like it with the skin, D. I'm not allowed to eat it with the skin. I'm not allowed.
Oh my God. All right.
Eric and Shelley spend more and more time together, exchanging dialogue like characters. And one day, Shelley gets visitors and she freaks out. And Eric's all like, I'll help you hide. And then, once he takes her to the place to hide, he goes, Why don't we escape instead? So they cut off their ankle monitors and escape with no repercussions. They then boink and do a lot of drugs. And then they do drugs with other people. They make a SoundCloud rap together. And Shelley says weird things like, If I'm ever hard to love, then love me harder, which is weird. Shelley is like, "Why do you love me?" And Eric is like, "Because vibes." And I know that they said they were gonna concentrate more on the love story, but this is the love story we get. This goes on for about, like, 6 days to, like, a month, completely financed somehow, and then one day, the henchmen come because in the beginning of the movie, Shelley got a text, and there's a bad guy who can whisper bad things in your ear and make you do bad things. The henchmen get Shelley and Eric, and they're unalived, and no one cares. 40 minutes into the film, by the way, 40 minutes. Eric wakes up, a mere hours later to have some guy tell him words, and Eric takes those words to mean that if he kills the bad guy, he can save Shelley. Comes back into the world of the living so recently that most of the people in the film don't even know he's dead. He looks the same pretty much, but he has the ability to get the crap kicked out of him, and the only reason that he keeps winning the fights is because, like, he can't die. So, eventually he's gonna get the upper hand. He's got that going for him. Then something happens that changes everything. Eric sees a video where the bad guy who can make you do bad things against your will makes Shelley do a bad thing against her will. And Eric can't believe that Shelley would do a bad thing. And then all of a sudden he's like sucked away out of the story. And the spirit guide guy is like, You doubted her. No, you guys can't be together anymore. She's gotta go to hell forever now. And Eric's like, no. So Eric is like, I'm gonna save her anyway. So Eric is back now and he has black blood now and he knows how to fight. And he goes in like a shirtless zombie John Wick on everyone. And Eric starts killing everybody. And then Eric kills the big bad. And then he goes to hell and saves Shelley from hell, and Shelley's like, "Thank you for saving me." And Eric's like, "Yeah, I saved you, but I doubted you, and you're a woman, so that's not allowed."
You're gonna like it with the skin, D. I'm not allowed to eat it with the skin. I'm not allowed.
Oh my God. All right.
"I saved you though, but I'll just stay in hell because, I doubted you." And then Shelley's like, "No." And then she wakes up on the floor, where she was like first unalived in the beginning. And it looks like the paramedics are, they save her. And then she looks over and the paramedics aren't able to save Eric. So, like, we assume that he, died on the floor. And then Eric is in hell, like, talking to himself. And there's like closing monologue. And he's like, I'll see her again someday. And that's because Eric is such a dum dum. He either doesn't understand what the words all of eternity means, or he just assumes that Shelley will just make her way to hell on her own eventually. Either way, I hated it and don't waste your money. It was really bad and the pacing's all over the place. And I know you guys might think that I'm like saying it dumb because it is dumb but you're like, it couldn't possibly be that dumb. It's literally that dumb. And I thought it was so dumb that I was compelled to make a video on it. And this is that video. So I hope you liked it a lot more than I liked The Crow 2024 because I didn't like it at all. And I don't think anyone will like it. And I don't know. If you want me to make more of these videos, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you another day. I'm Sammy Three Pete. Good night.
three-peat cook. Let him cook. He's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking, he's cooking. Sammy Three-Peat.